Hello everyone, welcome back to Tarot with Shizu. My name is Shizu and I will be facilitating your tarot reading today. Right now it is Mercury Retrograde. So for those of you who are less familiar with this term, it has come into vogue in the last couple of years, I think maybe 5 years. So what it is basically in a nutshell is that the planet Mercury, from our point of view on Earth, it looks like it's retrograding, it's moving away from us. So in the ancient times, people thought that Mercury, the god of commerce and communication, is going away from Earth. Therefore, we are a little bit encumbered when it comes to effective communication or business dealings and things like that. So, and nowadays people even talk about internet not working or like Zoom meeting for whatever reason. I can't get into it. And I personally like to blame things on Mercury retrograde. But thankfully, I haven't really felt a lot of setbacks because of Mercury retrograde. And also Mercury retrograde happens, quite often. So maybe 3 or 4 times a year. So this time around we have from May 10th till June 2nd, I think. Anyway, some people might be more affected than others. Some astrologers, I'm not an astrologer, but I'm aware that some astrologers, advise against traveling or doing any sort of banking, any big important banking. So it's almost like if you can help it, don't do it sort of thing, based on your natal chart. So it might depend as well. But I mean, to tell you the truth, about 5-6 years ago, I had to open a bank account, and it was just maybe 5 days after Mercury went retrograde, so it was still within that full on Mercury retrograde, but I just really had to open the bank account. I couldn't wait. I could not have waited, right? So I did, and thankfully, so nothing happened, nothing bad happened. So, I think it's just a cautionary remark that, anytime when you do any sort of important business dealings or important trips or something like that, you would want to doubly make sure that all the T's are crossed, all the I's are dotted, that sort of thing, right? So Mercury retrograde, I take it as it's a light reminder for all of us to just be careful, be prudent. That's all. That's how I take it. But anyways, I think it's fun to do a reading, about that. It's almost like, well, how can we better navigate this Mercury retrograde period, right? So in terms of personal communications and also maybe the commerce-related things. So I thought it would be fun to do a reading on that. So let's begin. So as usual, I have shuffled and selected cards. So today, what happened was that when I was shuffling the cards, there was one set of 3 cards already just kind of that came out. So I thought, okay, interesting. So I took them as 1, 2, 3. But in addition, I selected one more card for each of the groups. So, as usual, we have 3 groups. But today, as I did once before, we have 2 cards for each of the groups, each group. So let's take a look at the cards. So here you are. It's quite ornate when I see this in this setting. Quite nice. So let's say these 2 cards are group number 1. Middle is group number 2. This one is group number 3. So let's ask a question. How can I better navigate this Mercury retrograde season in terms of personal communication and some business dealings? something money related. You might like to take deep breaths, sit nice and tall, and decide group number 1, group number 2, or group number 3. Okay, so now that I hope you have chosen your cards, I will show you today's deck. So it's called the Deviant Moon Tarot. It's the borderless edition, meaning that there's no border at the, no border. It's the tarot cards without borders. Anyways, I chose this one. A lot of times people shy away from them for whatever reason. I find them really fantastic and quite cheeky. It's very quite fantastical, I guess, or phantasmagoric almost, because some of the cards can look quite I don't know, some people say they're scary, but I don't find them very scary, but it's bizarre. So this is the box, but I can show you some cards like this. You know how this, I find it super beautiful. Some of the cards are funny, some are witchy, some are kind of oh, woe is me, sort of a fun, you see what I mean by some people don't like the taste of it, but also this one is the card that some people did not like, but you didn't choose any of that, so you don't have to think too much about it. So yeah, it's a peculiar deck. I really, really, really love them. The cards and the artistic rendition of each of the cards. So I hope you will enjoy today's reading. So it's the Deviant Moon Tarot. So let us begin. Group number 1. You have the Knight of Pentacles and the Page of Cups. So you have the Knight of Pentacles and the Page of Cups as the advice how to navigate this Mercury Retrograde more effectively. So I'm actually very intrigued about these two people, what they're doing together, seemingly going to the same direction even. So it's really like navigating, going through the going through the journey of this Mercury retrograde, right? And the thing is, the Knight of Pentacles, usually the knights are the warriors and the fighters of the whole sort of the court system, right? But look at him, he's a tank. And he is holding on to this coin. So especially when it's dealing with the personal finance, for example, or business dealings even, he's there and he is a protector, actually. He's like a tank. So it's almost like he's, holding on to the asset very safely. And let's say, for example, not spending mindlessly, that sort of thing, protect the resources, and he is very good at it. And I was looking at this card, I mean, this might be going a little bit off on a tangent, but you see these upward arrows, so they are meant to be chimneys, right? Coming from this industrial sort of a looking tank, or like a mechanism that he is riding on. But I was thinking, how right at the moment, the stocks are quite low. But this looks like, okay, hold on to it right now because they're gonna rise. So, maybe, I hope so. So, thinking about that, it's almost like protecting your assets right now, and then being ready for the eventuality that, all the things will go up, and, things will become better in terms of the global economy, right? So this is one of the personalities that you want to emulate. And then let's say this one, the Page of Cups, is very different from the Knight of Pentacles in that the Page of Cups, he or she, we can't really tell, but let's say it's a he. He's looking, he's doting on this little pet fish. And the pet fish is giving him a little bit of pearl or something. And then it's just like there's so much tenderness, between him and his pet. And it's a very sweet card. So this is also the personality trait that you want to, cultivate during this time. So let's say, for example, this is more about the personal communication. Don't forget to express your love to your loved ones, and they will, in return, express their love to you. So it's a really beautiful and sweet card, right? So look at other people's sweetness and then comment on that sweetness as well. And also, because these cards, these court cards, can also mean people in your life. So let's say, for example, you come across one person who is more like the Knight of Pentacles. You might even want to emulate the Page of Cups toward that Knight of Pentacles. So you can express your admiration for, let's say, how savvy this person is, this knight is, right? And in another scenario, you might come across someone who is like this Page of Cups, very sweet, very caring, expressing very well how he or she, thinks of you, that sort of thing. Then you can be like that, almost like a financial advisor, in a good way, to, advise the page to, how to go about this, let's say, economically tumultuous times, that sort of thing. Of course, you can embody these two different personalities, and you know all about this by now. So yeah, I think this is a very interesting combination to have, and I would read it as one is more for the finance, this one, because of course he has the coin here, so it's more about the finance, and then the Page of Cups is more about interpersonal communications, even though he is talking to a fish. It's more about the interpersonal communications. Don't forget to remain sweet, even if things get a little tough, let's say. So that was the group number 1. Group number 2. You get, Three of Wands, this one, and Justice. 3 of Wands and Justice. Okay. Now, 3 of Wands is a card about a situation where you have had some sort of initial success. You can see this person maybe the mother of these 3 plants. So, as I said before, this is a very fantastical sort of a deck. So you can see really interesting rendition of a person, or like an alien maybe, with interesting garment, right? So maybe this person is partially plant. Because interesting feet as well, right? So I really like this art, very intriguing, I find. So let's say, this is the mother of these 3 plants. She has the umbilical cord still with these 3 plants. And then, yes, they have grown very well, but she's still kind of, a little bit apprehensive about, am I doing a good job? Are they going to grow well? Because they haven't flowered yet, right? So she still has some time to what's the word? The period of gestation, I guess, something like that, until these plants become to be mature, let's say, to full maturity. So yeah, the Three of Wands is a card about having initial success, but still you might be a little apprehensive about what to come in the later chapters of your life, right? And then Justice is one of the major arcana, so it has a title, almost like a painting, right? So it's justice, and of course justice is about being just and unbiased and being fair, in a court system, of course. I'm just thinking that maybe some of you might be going through some sort of a court, even, going to the Ministry of Justice, that sort of thing, maybe dealing with lawyers, that sort of thing. Now, if you are going through that sort of thing, and then if you are in this situation in that, let's say initial hearing, all these like law words, I don't even know those words, but anyway. So let's say the initial hearing of the court was pretty good, to your advantage, let's say, but it's still at the young stage, and you're wondering like, well, so far so good, but how can I go about it? That sort of thing. So let's say even if you're not in that court system, but justice is a card about being just, being fair, and unbiased, right? So in this pairing, and with the question, how can I better navigate this Mercury retrograde, it's quite clear. Even when, Mercury retrograde is said to be the time period that your words can get muddled, your thought process can go a little iffy, like if you really subscribe to the astrological meaning of Mercury retrograde. But try to be clear-headed, try to be fair-minded. Listen to and look at both sides of the argument, or both sides of, let's say, pros and cons of maybe an investment, maybe a personal communication between other people, that sort of thing, because you already have an initial success, and these cards together can connote very good outcome in the long run, but at the moment it's quite young. The investment, either emotional or money-wise, is quite young right now, but be just, be fair-minded, and then everything should go very well. So that was number 2. Group number 3. You have 3 of Pentacles and 7 of Wands. 3 of Pentacles and the 7 of Wands. So now, it's quite an interesting situation here. I think I will go from this, the 7 of Wands card. So this is an interesting position in that this person here is going through some sort of conflict, or it could be like a tiny bit of an uncomfortable situation, but you have the upper hand, that sort of thing. So this person is able to get away. So, but it seems like, she or he is running away from some sort of situation, but the way around this person is brightly lit, so she or he can go toward her safety, right? So I'm just gonna call it her, because to me, she seems like a girl. So yeah, as she's going through, she's like, oh my God, what's going on? I don't know what to do. So, but she still has the upper hand because everything's brightly lit, and then she still has the will to survive, really. So that is the situation there of 7 of Wands. It's almost like even if you have a difficult situation right now, you can see that you do have positiveness, and you do have have the drive and ambition to go through with whatever difficulty that you are having, because you can see that you have an upper hand, right? Now, this card, Three of Pentacles, is about, you can probably see that it's about working in unison with other people or other elements within you. So there are three different entities, let's say, creatures. They look very different from one to the other, right? So they're not of equal sort of species or standings, or equal of origin even, but they are working on each other. And then the idea behind Three of Pentacles is that everyone is working what they are good at, working on what individual is good at, so that you can achieve something greater than just an individual. Yeah? So, what it is, and as I'm looking at it, so this is quite unusual, and so this is why some people think this card is gory, this deck is gory, because you can see that there's a little bit of blood here, but this person doesn't look that bothered. So it's almost like there is a self-sacrifice element of this person, and he or she doesn't necessarily mind it. It's almost like it's worth it, and it doesn't hurt that much, and it's worth it for the greater cause, right? And then this person is doing her most, to achieve whatever these three people or entities want to achieve together, right? So these two cards together, it's almost as if this little girl here is trying to run away from something, thinking that she's alone in this and she has to tackle the conflict alone. But actually, she is going, really, this is called the directionality of the card. So this card is going toward, this character is going toward this situation. So the directionality suggests that she is actually going toward a situation where everyone is needed in some capacity to achieve a greater goal for the community. So in terms of the question, how can I better navigate this Mercury retrograde? If you are in a little bit of pickle, a little bit of conflict, don't worry, and look for, and you might already have people like this, look for people who are working together, like a group of people who are working together for the betterment of everyone, and then you will be able to sort of participate in it for a better future for you. Yeah, so actually this Mercury retrograde might be a good, almost like a partner searching or group searching, where you feel like you actually belong and you can contribute something toward. So that's quite exciting. So good luck with that if that appeals to you. And also this is, it's a suit of Pentacles, right? So Pentacle is about wealth and health and foundation, good foundation. So, especially if this little girl is a little bit uncomfortable on her own footing, like running away from something, and then she will find something solid. That's great. And it's great for finance as well, for her as well as for the whole group. So good luck with that. That was number 3. Hello again. I hope you enjoyed your reading for better navigating this Mercury retrograde period. So don't be afraid of, what Mercury retrograde might bring you. Again, I personally think that Mercury retrograde is more about double checking the documents, double checking your emails before sending it, making sure that it's going to the right person with the right wording, no silly typos, that sort of thing. So yeah, it's a I think all the groups had something quite solid to say, and I hope that it was helpful to you. So, journey on. Thank you very much for tuning in today. I hope to see you again sometime soon. Bye!